here is part 2 of the 12th Conference on National Scenic Historic Trails. Thanks for tuning in.
That's my trail work experience. After that, I started college. I haven't really had the time to get back into it, but that's why I'm here. I love it, and I think that it's important for almost every youth to get out there and serve their country one way or another, and AmeriCorps and SCA really is a way of getting involved. So basically, this wasn't my first experience in nature though. My dad used to always take me backpacking since I was yay high. And I think that's really why I was drawn to the SCA. And I remember I just have so many memories of being little. Like one time losing my sneakers, and we had to hike back like 5 miles to get them because they fell in my backpack. I remember being little, my backpack's heavy, would carry it, you know? But yeah, so definitely that's how I think it really all began. But the SCA took it to a whole new level. And I really think that organizations like the SCA and, like the partnership, they gave us the scholarship to come here. If you provide kids with the means to get out there, they'll come, You just really need to make it accessible to them and to market it properly. And that's the thing. You need to make it relate. You need to tell them, here's what you're going to benefit from. Because, especially high schoolers, they're completely concerned with only themselves. I mean, no offense to high schoolers out there, but I know that's how I was. I'm pretty sure most people can say that's how they were. If you tell them, this is what you get out of it, that's what they're really going to want. So, yeah. I'm going to pass the torch.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christine Chung, and I would like to thank you, Teresa, and everyone from the Trails organizations that helped bring me to this conference. I've never been to Montana before. So my experience with nature started out actually only a couple years ago. As a child, I pretty much grew up in a suburban setting. I grew up pretty much by Chicago, Illinois, so everything I knew and was used to was, Chicago, urban settings, and my experience with nature was more natural settings in urban settings. So it was like the zoo or aquariums or arboretum. So it wasn't the pure experience of being in the outdoors. And so my parents would take me fishing maybe, and I just was like, fish, gross, and kind of rejected it. And when we went to San Francisco, my parents brought me on a bus tour to Yosemite. I was just like, I hate buses, complained the entire time, just kind of didn't really connect with where I was and what I was doing. So it wasn't until I was trying to figure out where I was going to go for college that I decided I loved animals, and I still do. I decided I didn't want to become a veterinarian because just being stuck in an office was just kind of a terrible idea to me. So I decided to go for wildlife, and I never thought about pursuing wildlife as a career. So I started looking into that and environmental studies and stuff, and ended up going to the University of Illinois with a concentration in fish and wildlife conservation. So that's when I was basically introduced to everything environmental. And summer after my freshman year of college, I did an internship with the Student Conservation Association. I don't mean for all of us to sound like, we're like, go SCA or everything. But it really is like an inspirational organization. I got a position in California as a bear management intern. I was like, bears? I don't know anything about bears. Let's do it. And so I thought it was like a pretty cool position. And I just jumped right into it. And it was an amazing time. I did research about bears, and I talked to so many campers, and it just speaking with people about their experiences in the outdoors. So many of them that I met when I was doing my rounds in the campgrounds, they would tell me, like, they've been here for 50 years, they've seen bears all the time, except that one summer. I was there. And so it was just incredible speaking to all these people, and they were so outdoorsy and so, like, in love with nature that it really inspired me and to, like, get involved. And that last summer was really the first time I went camping and backpacking and just kind of hiking, really. So, I mean, all this was relatively new to me. And so, I mean, I also, like, hiked Mount Whitney, and never thought I would ever do that. I pretty much became addicted to the environment, the outdoors, and everything nature. This past summer, or this past spring break, I also did alternative spring break trip at SCA at the Grand Canyon, and like, I never thought I would, like, not shower for 6 days and be so happy and excited about it. I was like, I'm so filthy, but this is so great, and it's just such an incredible time. And here I am now. I'm doing an internship in Connecticut as an ornithology intern, working with endangered roseate terns and common terns, and I'm stuck on an island for 10-11 days at a time, and the island's covered with poison ivy, and I have thousands of birds diving, pecking me, pooping on me, rolling in poison ivy, but, you know, as much as I complain about it, I love it. Like, I never thought there would be something I'd be so passionate about. Like, there is the pros and there's the cons, but it's mostly the good things that I remember. And this is when I started, like, now I'm permanently addicted to staying involved and staying active in the outdoors. And being at this conference is a great experience for me because I only recently got interested in the trails, and now that I have another outlet, like, to connect my love for the wildlife with the trails and see if I can, you know, look towards other agencies and organizations to follow through and integrate two passions of mine and work together with other agencies to, I guess, better the outdoors and youth or whatever. So I think that it's very important. Like, I mean, I'm kind of sad that I didn't get involved in nature earlier in my life. So I feel that trail organizations should get involved in working with elementary schools and get kids more involved in hiking, like field trips or something, and maybe do a trickle-down system or something. Have the adults contact youth like us, and have youth like us contact the younger generation, and, like, infuse a passion in that way. Because if you really get kids involved at a young age, they'll remember it, and maybe they'll, you know, encourage others and make the entire family involved, and, you know, just make a better community that is more involved and more educated about the outdoors and wildlife. I think I'm enough blabbling.
Hey there, my name is Lucas McFarland. I'm a NSPERS tribal member. I live in Lapwai, Idaho, and I work for the Fisheries Department watershed. And this all started for me because I heard about it on the email from my boss, and this all started with me being out in the outdoors. I was working since I was about 3 years old with my dad. We would build fences and tube trees, and we did some other things. And so I've been working with them since I was 3 years old. And I've been in it since then, and I was an intern 3 years in high school, and I worked there, fisheries, and I've just been, right out of high school, I've been working with the fisheries. And just last year, we finished 20 miles of the National Historic Trail to the Big Hole Battlefield, Wisdom, Montana. And we just finished that last year, and it took us 3 years, and we finished that. we did that, and then we got 18 miles of trail that we maintenance back home, and so from the Muscle Shell Meadows, it goes all the way down to where's it go down to? Let's see. Anyway, there's 18 miles. It goes to the Muscle Shell Meadows to Saddle Camp on the Clearwater National Forest, and we clean the water bars and saw out all the trees that's in the trail, and have to do the naturalizing on all the cuts because we try to make it look historic, you know. And we know how to use the chainsaw and do cuts on it, and we actually teach the guys over there at the Beaverhead Deer Lodge how to do that, and so it was pretty neat because my dad was the boss, and him and my uncle, they figured out how to do that with the chainsaw, so we got pretty good with it. And then like all the material that we had to saw, we had to drag 50 feet off the trail and hide it so you can't see it. And so we got a lot of experience in trail work, and we also build fences, and we maintenance that every year. And then we do some other things, and let's see, what else do we do here? And the reason we do the fences is because we keep the cows out of creeks and meadows and wetlands and everything, and so that's a big factor. And let's see. Yeah, and then I'm also a volunteer for Nespers Appaloosa Horse Club, and they do a ride every year, and they ride the trail, and I also have volunteered to be a counselor on the Intertribal Natural Resource Youth Camp program, and we did projects and went out and planted trees and shrubs and willows and stuff like that. So really, I've just been in this like my whole life, so I'll probably keep doing it, and I've learned a lot over here, and probably just keep doing it, working. I like to work hard, and so we only had 5 people on our crew too, so all Nespers tribal members. So, but that's about it.
You guys enjoy that as much as I do. I was smiling so much my face hurts a little bit. I just want to recap some points that our panelists drew out that I thought would really help focus people here that are looking for some program ideas. And one of them came from Annie that said, put youth in charge of things that they're going to be participating in. I think we always underestimate the capacity of someone who's 13 and 14 years old, and you just don't. I mean, that's what we're the most creative, because we haven't built that box around ourselves yet that says, here are the rules and here's how things have to happen, and I think that holds us back sometimes. So a lot of high schools, most especially in Florida, and I know this is true for many states, seniors to receive scholarships and sometimes even just to graduate have to have volunteer hours as part of their senior experience. So approach them in the beginning of the year or even in their junior year and say, here's what we need. Do you have any ideas? And they're going to say, not only do I really want to do that, but I would rather be hanging outdoors with some other kids than hanging out in my library trying to figure out where I'm going to get my volunteer hours in. So provide them with that opportunity. Another thing that I heard was marketing properly, and everybody went, what does that mean? I don't know. I'm too old to be honest. I don't know what it means to Twitter, and my sisters are always talking about it, so even at the age of 25, I'm not cool anymore. But what you do is you get that high schooler to do your marketing for you. Have them put together your promotional materials. Have them come up with the cool phrases you want to use. You know what I mean? I still hear people say groovy sometimes, and I'm like, oh, you're a few generations behind. So maybe they can come back, because I don't know. So have them pick the verbiage for you, and you're going to be the cool cat in town. I'm sure that's not the right phrase anyway. Another thing that I heard, was it Christina?
Trail management and the National Park Service. Together, they're beautiful. Stay tuned to the 12th Conference on National Scenic Historic Trails in Missoula, Montana.